In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Darth Vader Death Star 2 from Return of the Jedi. Hello Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. And as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Darth Vader Death Star 2 from the Return of the Jedi. In fact, it's part of the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, as we can see in the top left-hand corner there of the card back. And let's just get straight on to looking at this card back. I did have a quick look at it in my overview video of the whole wave, but it'd be rude not to have another look at it. I mean, this is just a fantastic card back. That iconic image there of where Vader wants to look on his son with his own eyes. And yeah, what a fantastic scene. But yeah, Return of the Jedi, great film. In my opinion, it's my definite go-to Star Wars movie. If I ever just want to put a Star Wars film on, that's what I tend to go for. Although, you know, I accept that Empire Strikes Back is probably the best of the three original trilogy movies. Return of the Jedi is the one I grew up with. It was the first one that I saw in the cinema. And there's the rest of the wave there. He is VC 280 on the back. And yeah, there's just not too much else to say about that card back. There he is in the bubble. We're going to check out this figure in a minute. We're going to get him out. He's got the removable helmet in the two pieces there. He's got the removable glove or switchable glove, so you can have the chopped off hand there. You've got the unlit lightsaber hilt and a lightsaber with the red beam. And yeah, I just can't take my eyes off of this card back, to be honest. What a fantastic image. This is just what the Vintage Collection is all about, in my opinion, and I just cannot wait to get another one of these to go on my wall. Alright then, so without further ado, if you do happen to enjoy the video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's take a look at the figure. Alright then, so here he is out of the packaging, the brand new Darth Vader from Return of the Jedi, standing next to the Darth Vader from the Obi-Wan card, the Dark Times Darth Vader, which is pretty much the best Darth Vader we've ever had in this scale. Absolutely awesome figure. And this figure is pretty much exactly the same, except for the fact that it does have the removable helmet and the removable hand. And apart from that, some ever so slightly different paint apps. But I thought I'd just put them together here for you now. One, so that we can compare them, and two, just to see if you are able to tell the difference. Because when you have a quick look at them, it's actually quite difficult. We will get into the differences in a second when we look at the new one close up, but I just wanted to put them there next to each other so we can just take a look at some of the blatant differences. So the paint apps on the chest plate, this little electronic thing that he has on his chest, it's painted ever so slightly different on the new one. If you haven't guessed already, the new one is this one on the right, and the chest plate on the right has got a blue button and white buttons and a red button at the bottom there, whereas this one's got silver and white and then a green one at the top. To me, the buttons on the belt look pretty much the same. And also, and it might be my eyes, but I think his sort of armor on his shoulders is ever so slightly different as well in terms of the paint apps. I think the one from the Darth Vader, the Dark Times, is a little bit more sort of shiny, and this one's a bit sort of toned down a bit more. The silver and the blacks are ever so slightly different. But that's about it really in terms of paint apps. The helmet looks pretty much the same in terms of the paint apps. The different silver pieces here versus the black, I think they've replicated that on the new helmet. Of course, you will have a very, very slight gap there where the two pieces for the helmet join together. They're two pieces of plastic, quite rubbery, so they're never going to sit 100% flush, but it is much, much better than any other Vader that we've had before where the helmet comes apart, in my opinion anyway. So anyway, that's the two next to each other. The articulation is exactly the same. They've got all the same joints and everything like that, apart from the neck joint, which I will show you in a minute, because obviously the new one's got the removable helmet. So let's get the Dark Times Vader out of the way and take a closer look at the new version. Alright then, so here is Darth Vader, super close up, and as you can see, you can just about see that gap between the two pieces of the helmet, but honestly, you know, this is an extreme close-up, so you're going to be able to see it. When it's further away, you really don't really notice it. What grabbed my attention more when I first took it out of the package is the tattiness of the cape. You can just see it's a bit frayed here. My Dark Times version is not like that at all. It's cut really, really nicely, and you can really see on that side as well, just a bit of fraying and what have you, but maybe that's just my example. But there's the helmet there, and there's his sort of body armor on his shoulders. I'm pretty sure that is ever so slightly different in paint compared to the other version. And as I said, the rest of the figure is pretty much exactly the same. So the main thing we want to look at really about this Darth Vader is the head sculpt. So let's take off the first piece of the helmet, which is the sort of dome piece there. That is a sort of softer rubbery plastic. And then you're left with the other piece, which has got some nice paint apps, those like bronzy pieces on there. And then when you look at the back, you can see the back of his head, obviously, which we've had that on previous Vaders, and you can see that nasty scar on the back of his head there. Pretty awful. And then obviously this bit just comes away like that, and it almost clips around his ears. You can just see there, it's got these pieces here which like grip, and again, that's quite a soft sort of rubbery plastic, not too rubbery, but definitely soft so you can manipulate it. Now here's the head sculpt. Now my friend John Lindquist from the SWTVC informed me that this is actually Sebastian Shaw and not Hayden Christensen, and I kind of agree with him now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the head off and take this piece off so you can actually see the whole head sculpt. It looks nothing like Hayden Christensen, basically. I think the problem is that the head is a little bit thin, and Sebastian Shaw at that moment in the film, if you looked at the card back and watched the film again, you know, he hasn't really got a long thin head, has he, like maybe Hayden Christensen has, which is maybe where the confusion has arisen. But look at that. Look at the paintwork and the eyes and the scarring on the head. That is fantastic. He's got those nasty scars on his head there. You can just see them. They go all the way. And you've got that detailing on the back, sculpted in on the back of the mask piece there. Really, really good. But close up, look at those eyes. Amazing. So let me show you what I mean. Let me take the head off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cape off as well, because it just gets in the way of the review. There's your double barbell. There's that other piece. So we can just put that back on for the moment, and let's put the head on, because the head actually does move independently to this piece. So you can actually move his head back a little bit like that, and then you can, you know, he's not looking downwards into the mask, and you can really see the head sculpt. There is no way that that is supposed to be Hayden Christensen, in my opinion. I also don't think it looks a great deal like Sebastian Shaw, but as I said, my mate John seems to think that there's other images of him where he does look a bit more like that. But of course, the moment in the film we see him, I don't think he really looks like that too much. But in some positions, it's just incredible. That is so, so good. Let me just take this piece off for you. So you can just see his head without that piece, so you can get a good look at the head without any of the mask around it at all. Just see the detail there. Those nasty scars. Look at that one. Oh, he's been in the wars, no doubt. Fantastic. So to put it back on, obviously you just pop the head off, and then we get the cape or robe, whatever you want to call it, and just put that over, right over there like that. We can get this piece, pins that down, and we can plonk the head back on. And as I say, he can actually like look down into the mask, which I kind of think, to get the mask to fit perfectly, you want him sort of halfway. So you don't want him looking too far down, and you certainly don't want him looking too far up. You kind of want it a little bit of the two, like so, and then this bit just clips on like so. And as I say, I don't think you're ever going to be able to get that to sit 100% flush, but that looks loads better than any of the ones that we've had before. And then this piece just fits back on top, and it's sculpted inside to sort of match up with that on the top of the head there. So it just basically just clips down like so, and then it becomes a really good Vader. The other feature about this figure is, of course, that you do have the interchangeable hand, and basically you pull the hand off like so, which does have a hinge on it, and then this piece removes as well. So this is like the sort of top piece of the glove, as you can see there, and then basically you just have this new piece that replicates that glove, or the top of the glove, but with the hand chopped off. And I'm not sure if you can see there, but there's actually a little ridge there on that sort of lower arm, and there's the same piece cut out inside there, which you're not going to be able to see. So you just have to sort of line that on. I mean, you will be able to put it on any other way, but you want to put it the right way because of the shape of the glove. And there he is with his chopped off hand. Now, what I would say is that, you know, they've done a pretty good job with that, but I think that they could have added maybe a bit of colour there. I seem to remember there might have been like a few like singed red wires and things coming out of the hand. I think they could have maybe added a couple of paint apps there, but maybe if they'd done that, it would have ended up look like the end of a cigarette or something. But there you go with there he is with the chopped off hand. There you go. So that's the other feature. So this Vader, as I said, is just exactly the same as the Dark Times Vader, except for the fact that you now have the removable helmet with the head sculpt underneath and the removable glove to mimic the scene where he gets his hand chopped off. I'm not going to go through the articulation of this figure because I did that in my Dark Times video. If you want to see the articulation, then go and watch that video. What I would say is I may not have noticed in that video, he actually has 2 hip joints which work independently of each other. So this one at the top is like a crunch and a swivel, and then he also swivels at the lower as well, so they actually turn at the same time. Unbelievable articulation this figure has. Alright then, I hope you've enjoyed the review of the Vintage Collection Darth Vader from Return of the Jedi. I'm loving this pose that I've got them in here. Luke just looking down at his hand and the black glove. Vader's lost his hand. What an awesome part of the movie that was. Just fantastic, and you're able to recreate it now with these 2 figures, which is pretty cool. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, and thank you to my Patreon supporters and channel members for the extra support. I really do appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching, and we shall see you on the next one.